Okay, well, welcome everybody to another edition of the Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce Chamber Chat. We are very excited today to have the city manager from the city of Palm Bay, Lisa Morrell. They've been just doing an amazing job there at the city and keeping everybody informed. So I was thrilled that she was able to craft some time out of her busy schedule to come on with us today. To give you a bit of update, I know normally this was our monthly luncheon. We just had we just weren't able to pull it off. That's all I can say. So this will be our event for this week. And then on Friday, we have another virtual multicultural networking happy hour, so 5 to 6. I know last time, and I keep saying this, they broke into karaoke. I'm not sure how they did that. Everybody did not have the words, so you can imagine how that went. But it was kind of really nice for everybody to check in and see how everyone was doing and be able to talk to each other. So we'll be doing that again on Friday from 5 to 6. And then next week, we'll have another chamber chat on Tuesday. So Marty Ward is coming on. She's just amazing with kind of how to deal with the stress and everything that people have been dealing with. I know things are opening a bit and things are relaxing, but we've gone through a lot, and to be social distance for this much when we're really social creatures has been difficult. So I think that'll be a very interesting one on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we are going to have our monthly luncheon. So we just put it back a week. We're going to have half an hour of virtual networking. So from 11:30 to 12, which is when we normally network, we'll be actually doing guided networking like we did with our Brevard Business Professionals, where you were able to break out into a room and interact with people at your table. And then we brought you back and then put you in another room. So we'll be doing that for about half an hour from 11:30 to 12. And then, from 12 to 1 will be our regular program with the pledge and our speaker and all our events and our trustees. So we're pretty excited about that one. So that's next week. And then going forward, I think we're still looking at maybe doing 2 chamber chats a week. So the 19th and the 21st. And then our Brevard Business Professionals will once again be the last Tuesday of the month. I have to say, though, I do have some exciting news because our trustee partner, the Hyatt Place, just opened today. It was obviously a soft opening. We weren't, I'll post some pictures on Facebook of our pictures. We were very nicely social distanced and had our masks on, but they have a beautiful facility in there, and it holds about up to about 96 people, I think, in the room. So if we are unable to get into some of the senior living facilities, we were using Riverview Senior Resort Living, if they are still going to have if they're not allowing people to go into senior living facilities, then this would be our plan B, right off of 95 there on Palm Bay Road by the Bass Pro Shop. So, and the place is just spectacular. Their fitness center is brand new. Everything's just, I'm thinking, wouldn't that be, kind of cool to be the first person to stay in the hotel? Like, the guy checked in this morning and I'm like, yeah, nobody else has slept in that bed. You're the very first person in that room. So pretty excited. And he was, David from 81 Global was saying that their company this is their 23rd, I think, and they are expected to have like 25 by the end of this year. So they are just knocking it out of the park. Unbelievable with the hotels that they've been opening. And they now have one up north, because I was asking how far away is your hotels, because I thought really they were all in Florida. So no. So I was very excited. So like I said, we'll post that on our Facebook page. So check that out. And it may be our newest venue that the chamber is going to be utilizing. So you will not be disappointed. They even have a little Starbucks in there, and they actually provide food because most hotels of that sort they just don't have a restaurant capacity. So they can do pizzas and that type of thing 24 hours a day. So it makes them a little bit different than some of the other local hotels. So that was kind of cool. So we will get that on our Facebook page. Join us Friday and for our happy hour, bring your own libation. So You might have some left over, maybe not from margarita night last night, but Cinco de Mayo Day for those that made it out, and for everybody else. So my name is Nancy Peltonen. I do this every time. You never know who's just blabbering away at you. So I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce, and we're really thrilled that you have joined us today. So without further ado, Lisa Morrell has been the city manager now. You're into your, what, like?
Almost 18 months, November 22.
Yeah, so she's just been amazing. You know, the city has its challenges, we all know at Palm Bay, but they have just been working through everything and putting protocols in place that are just amazing. And I like this back to business that, you know, where as businesses you can sign up, and Lisa will tell you more about that. I don't want to take away from her thunder, but I think the city has been just doing some great work to get people to know what's going on, to help businesses be proactive with the reopening. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Lisa. I think she has some slides and I might jump in there and ask some questions, but we'll let Lisa take it away with her PowerPoint and say hello and
all that good stuff. All right, let's see what I can do here.
Okay.
I switch a screen, share a screen.
Yeah.
Let's get the PowerPoint up. They can see that or not.
Yes.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Let's do that. How about now? See that nice?
That is lovely.
Lovely. All right. Our Palm Bay, it's our open up and recover. It is our reopening for Palm Bay that we're going to talk about today. I'm Lisa Morrell. I'm the city manager for Palm Bay, 20-year resident, 20-year employee. I love Palm Bay. I care very much about it. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. I know it's been a little short notice and everybody's been busy, and I hope everybody is well and has stayed safe and continues to be well. So with that.
Just one thing, Lisa, if you can make your slide full screen, because we can see your notes.
I don't have any notes, but I tried to do this earlier and it was like not full screening. So let's see.
Okay. No worries. It was at first, so that's why I was just wondering.
Yeah, I played with that a little bit. I could.
That's okay.
It's all right. It's in display settings. It just says go away. I don't know. I have a new laptop because I broke the last one. I'm a technology geek, and the screen went and I couldn't hear anything. So.
Oh, well, we don't want that. So no, you're good. We can see it. So it's fine.
How about that?
No, that's perfect.
Oh,
that's it.
All right.
Woohoo!
It took a minute.
Yeah,
So here we
perfect.
go. So I'll give you a little back. Yeah, no, thank you. I didn't know what you were seeing because I can see me, but it's weird seeing your screen and talking. So this is all fun virtual world of technology. Too much technology, actually. So
yes.
I'd rather shake a hand and say hello. So hello, everyone. Just a little bit of background on city operations, where we've been, where we're headed, right? So back in March 19th, it feels like day 9,022 of the COVID-19 local emergency, but we did close our public access to our city facilities March 20th. We continue to operate our city. We authorized employees to remotely work and to disperse shelter if they needed to. They had childcare or other emergencies or other executive orders that we did have throughout this process. We pivoted a lot of times of who was in, who was out. We had prioritized what was really critical and essential to our city during that time, and we continue to do that. So we were really focused on what were those key municipal services that we had to perform. So we did that, and of course we adopted the Stay Home, Stay Safe, Stay Connected campaign, and provided regular updates to our public through website, social media, billboards, newspaper, print ad. We tried to get out there. We even repurposed some snipe signs from the right-of-way, had code enforcement pick them all up, sent them back over to the sign shop, and they relaminated them. So if you saw them in the medians of Malabar Road, the Stay Home, Stay Safe, Stay Connected, we did a little repurposing this time. So staff has been awesome. Our crews continue to work out in the field, first responders, facilities, business tax receipts, site plan review, building department. They've got a drop box out front of City Hall. We're doing contactless service, so people are dropping off their plans in the box, and then we're opening them up and reviewing them and putting their permits back outside for pickup. So we haven't skipped a beat. We actually had a certificate of occupancy released to a new business, and we issued a lot of inspections for fire inspections and openings and BTRs. So it was great. I'm really proud of our team here, and I'm proud of our city. Watching the stats of Florida Department of Health, it's been counting, but it's also been a joy that wasn't like Miami or Jacksonville or Orange County. So I'm happy with really proud of our residents as well and our businesses. I hope you've all continue to stay safe, and we're looking to recover you. So what is our plan for reopening? We are doing a soft reopening Monday, March 18th. We're doing appointment-only public access to limit the person-to-person contact. We've put up shields, cough, sneeze shields at all of our locations of lobbies throughout City Hall. Facilities are doing that today. They're also installing a push-button doorbell video intercom system, so folks arriving for the appointment can hit the doorbell, goes to a live person. A live person says, hello, who are you here to see? And then allows you access to the building and gets you to where you need to be for that person-to-person contact. If you don't need to be here, that's great. Everybody's like, oh, I just want to stay away. That's okay. We'll still be here by telephone and email as well. But if you do need to speak with someone in person, it's one of those moments you really need that one-on-one. We have social distancing, stickers, markers, masks, all the good stuff for PPE, gloves, handling, and all that wonderful stuff, and those protective measures of all of our lobby areas. So we have a lot of signage, and will be a video probably next week that you'll be able to see that. So we also want to make sure that we have enough PPE to go around. As you know, distribution of PPE, personal protective equipment, has been really prioritized to our healthcare workers. Got to do them first. Our first responders, and then essential government employees, and then to general public usage. So we understand that PPE has been, people have struggled to locate, find, or order us too. So we have to ensure that we have enough PPE when we open through the duration of the pandemic, because we don't want to have to reclose because we don't have enough gloves to go around. So that's what we've been working on there. So as we reopen, we are focused on our Palm Bay, open up and recover. Our Palm Bay initiatives is to focus on the reopening on a slow, steady, safe approach. You have to be very cognizant of, we want everybody to be safe and comfortable when visiting City Hall. We want our businesses to feel the same way. We want to make sure that we are clean and that we can make all the accommodations to feel comfortable when we're in person. It's been an interesting time, the new normal. So we did do our business reopening needs survey results from our website. Hope you all participated in that. I think we had just a little over 100 participants, respondents, and that was really to intend to gather more valuable input right from the business community to understand your reopening challenges as businesses and what you're facing and how we can help you. So out of the 100 surveys, results are there. We have our top 3 items. It was social distancing, flexible work hours, and remote operations. Telework is always encouraged at this point. If you can continue to do that and operate your business, thumbs up. It's to protect yourself and stop the introduction. That's good stuff. But if you have to have in-person contact, retail, do take the necessary measures to ensure that you have protective measures of glass, safety, masks, gloves, what you want your customers to do when they come in. If they want to, mandate a mask, or, guidelines of having a mask is helpful. Read the CDC guidelines on those as well, because there are different interpretations out there. So always go directly to the source on what the mask and the purpose and what type of mask. But challenges, the biggest challenges will be retaining your customers. Understood, people are afraid to go out. If you have a retail outlet, that's going to be difficult, and we understand that. And so that to help with that, we really responded to, I'll get to my next slide, on how we can help you to know when you're open or closed and your hours and how you're operating. 30% of our businesses did not close during the safer at home orders. A lot of our retail are essential. They fell under the essential order of some sort of food, resource, banking, financial services, and other operations. So we had a lot of our businesses open. And then we had 30% report that they will dissolve within 2 to 4 weeks if they cannot reopen. So that's a large population. We want to make sure that we sustain our business community. It's important to us to have those services within our city and to our constituents, businesses, partners, and otherwise residents to use those services, and then folks from the outside. And of course, the big question of always requiring the guidelines for opening, best business practices, and how to safeguard everybody. And that is a really big challenge for everybody. It's a challenge for me. That's why we're doing a soft opening. I don't want to have a flood of folks come in. The employees get nervous. They all want to flee. They don't want to come to work. We want everybody to be comfortable and safe. So we've done taking those measures like the glass and the safety and the guards, and lots of PPE, lots of hand sanitizer. We bought a 270-gallon tote of sanitizer. Took a little bit to get here, but we were able to disperse that among our departments out to the field, out to our first responders, and in the offices.
So just to interject, there was a couple of questions. One is, will all city staff be ordered to wear masks?
That we really haven't. We've been operating here. I've been coming to work. It's been a full boat. I think about 840 employees. I think 100 were fell into some sort of order or some sort of need to remote and stay remote, or otherwise weren't comfortable coming to work, but still participated to work.
Okay.
Masks are optional. It's really a personal choice. I have not. I'll be honest. I'll be the first one. I have one in my bag. It's very attractive. It came free with something I ordered online like 4 weeks into it. Finding a surgical mask. We have 11,000 surgical masks coming, I think, this week. Trying to keep track of all the PPE is amazing. And the N95 masks or the KN95 masks are hard to come by, but we're able to source those at this point. So there's a lot of resources that have opened up. It really is your personal. Don't, I'm a don't touch. Look at my eyes. Don't touch my hands. Clean the surfaces. We have a lot of disinfectant. We have our dish gloves that our employees will use to clean surfaces that are commonly touched by folks, and then they're able to wash those with soap and water and then dry them and reuse them rather than using the disposable PPE gloves. So that's one thing that we need to stretch our burn rate on PPE to conserve it. So that's one tactic we're using. Yeah.
Great. And then somebody was wondering if any of the staff were furloughed or if you had to lay anybody off from the city during this.
So when we closed on the 19th, we did a Cities First. The Families First Act hadn't been enacted yet by President Trump. So we took care of anybody until April 15th. If they had scheduled hours, part-time, full-time, were not able to report to work for whatever executive order or local ordinance or anything that applied to them, we paid them. It was budgeted, we paid them. And then we converted to the Families First Act on the 16th. So then they had to fall into one of the 1 through 6 categories of their childcare needs, self-isolation, quarantine, or other of those 1 through 6. Have we furloughed, or I think really our part-time school crossing guards probably are the ones that are probably not able to function, like perform and don't fall under an order at this time. So there may be that, but not purposely laid off anybody or cut positions at this point. Of course, looking forward to our budget next year, it's a little bit like, do we add anybody? What is our business going to look like? What are our revenues going to look like too next year? So we're conservative, but we're managing.
The last one was about being able to social distance when people are in the buildings. Is that a possibility? Yeah,
I contacted the fire marshal looking at some of the slides that President Trump and Governor DeSantis used in some of their phasing approaches, looking at occupancy rates and not knowing what the order was going to be when he released the Safer at Homes order. We preliminarily looked at all of our occupancy rates with the fire marshal, went through the building plans with the square footage. If it was 25%, what was that occupancy rate going to be? Or if it was 30%, if it was 10%, if it was 5%, whatever that was going to be, we would have that number and be able to accommodate that. City Hall Annex, we've also, and that percentage is kind of there, is at 25%. So we have the ability to easily discern how many people are in the building as far as the intercom. And then we put in facilities is today putting a lot of stand here signs for social distancing for lines for the each lobby. Even my lobby, I can accommodate 2 people, and then everybody has to wait outside or not enter the building. Legislative office has like a 1 spot. The utility building has 4 instead of 8 windows that we'll be able to open, and we kind of had a serpentine in the lobby with 6-foot distancing, so we have a lot of that going on. So yes, we are planning on floor stickers, a lot of warnings of social distancing, please remain 6 feet, even in council chambers. We've had virtual meetings, and the public has actually been able to attend if they so choose. If they didn't want to leave a voicemail or send us an email about public comment about our virtual meetings, they were able to come. We made sure there was only 10 people. If we had to have staff exit, we would. We had overflow staff staged in another building, and they were spaced out with a conference room so they can participate remotely. And then we have all these marks on the floor and where people can stand if we had anything large. So we did prepare for that. Yeah.
And Marvis wanted to thank you. She said her husband and I walk Pollock Park daily, and we appreciate all the workers we have met. And the t-shirt saying is great. I'm not sure, she didn't write down what the t-shirt saying is, so.
Usually says, we work so you can play, or it starts in parks. One of those two is usually what I see in a Parks and Recreation. If it's a Parks and Recreation, Public Works might have a different slogan, but if it's Parks and Recreation, yeah. And they've done a lot
that's what she has. We work so you can play. Yes.
Okay. That's great. Yeah, that's a great one. Yes. So they've done a lot. Parks and Recreation has done a lot of maintenance. A lot of people said, well, did you furlough all the parks when they were closed? Well, no, we actually did a lot of maintenance. Eyes Park had a lot of cleanup and a lot of work, and we went through and we made sure everything was clean because we still had people visiting our parks, even though the playgrounds were closed, and the sporting, not supposed to play basketball with 10 people or 5 or 3. You're supposed to just shoot hoops and go home. But we still had people visiting our parks. It was hard to lock up or close down parking for 36 parks in Palm Bay. We just have a lot of parks. Some of the smaller municipalities actually blocked off all the parking and really closed the gates to them. So we know we have a large city. We just tried to do the best we had with what we could to keep everybody safe and encourage that. We had Parks and Recreation workers out monitoring too, like activities. There's a large bunch to do a lot of information education. Can't coagulate so much. Oh, you're a family of 5. Okay, well, you already cohabitate, but you're meeting with 10 random people. You wanted to make sure that they were socially distanced. So yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Well, I give you kudos, because frankly, being able to go to Turkey Creek was my
Happy
my
space.
release. It's just such a beautiful park for people that have never gone to it. I actually dragged PK there. And I'm like, dude, how have you not been here? He's like years ago. And it was just so nice to kind of, you get outside and you get away from it all. And yet it's right there on Port Malabar Road, and just so pretty. And you've got another shout out. David Jones from United Way is connected through Facebook and said, good job, Lisa.
How are you?
Yeah,
I have an email I have to reply to him.
Yeah, what you've tried to do for the city. I know it said parks were closed as I drove into the Fred Puppy Regional Park today, but I did not get out of my car. I just drove around. Yeah, there were people out. I saw people using the dog park, so I'm sure that's a really popular spot. But
that was difficult.
You've got such a difficult job being the largest city in Brevard County. And so with so many residents, so many parks, I mean, you really had a lot to deal with. So yes, people seem very appreciative. So if there's more questions, people, please feel free to type that in, and we'll let Lisa continue as we digress on Chamber Chat.
That's okay. It was good. We love the parks, and that's one of the things that we pride ourselves with. That Turkey Creek is a really special gem to actually Brevard County. I too visited. I have a lot of hobby with the photography, so I had a couple turtles, had a big gator sunning himself, and I was excited to see wildlife. So it's a good visit. Any day you go there, you might see something different. Maybe a blue heron, maybe a white heron, gators, manatees, everything's in there. So it's awesome. And if you like to kayak, that's a great spot too. So getting back to business. Back2Business Directory was launched on our webpage. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing for the folks. This is an opportunity. This is something that the city doesn't normally do, right? We advertise that you're open in a business in our Palm Bay, but we think this is important to help you market to your customers, know that you're open, your hours, provide some information. So there's a great link, pbfl.org, Back2Business, and you can register your business there and provide information that you are open and all sorts of good stuff that will good to retain your business that way. It's just another venue. It's a little bit of advertising for our local community and our local economic drivers, which are you and our partners with the Chamber, and anybody else that's not. Please let us know that you're open and operating, and let's help you, and we'll succeed through this. There's a little light at the end of the tunnel right here. So as we start through the reopening process, slow and steady wins the race is what I always say.
And this is for anybody that has a business within Palm Bay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We had actually launched this with our website when we launched it, when we remodeled 6 years ago. It never really got used, so we kind of hid the widget, and then how are they going to know they're open? And that was the number one concern. I got this widget. We turned it on and was able to put some fields in there and help you out, and it just gets validated from our webmaster just to ensure it's a good ad publicly putting that out. Nothing is in there that shouldn't be in there, and then it gets published right away. So it's got a review process, because that was my other concern.
So we're expecting everybody that's listening in on either
Zoom
or if you're live streaming us on Facebook, that you can go click that link and sign up, because we want to make sure that gets populated with the businesses in Palm Bay, so that everybody can use that as a resource to know hours. If you have reduced hours, whatever you are doing. We also have the CDC put out a clickable guideline of what you're doing to keep your business safe, and you can go, please check the Chamber's Facebook page. You can download that. You click what out of the different categories you're doing. You can post that on your front door so that people know before they come in. what procedures you have to ensure their safety. And it just really helps that you're going in knowing what the business has done to, you know, kind of make sure it's safe for you. So thank you, Lisa. That is just phenomenal. We're thrilled to be a part of that. We'll keep pushing that out to everybody, because
Absolutely.
I think ongoing, it's great to have that for a directory for the entire city. So thank you, Lisa.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Willie. Absolutely. And we invite, you know, it was like, well, I don't have a retail, I'm a home business. That's fine. Let us know what you do, and let people know what you do and how you operate in Palm Bay. We have home business, we have retail, we have services. If you're doing curbside, you're doing pickup, you're doing delivery only, whatever you're able to safely do, let's do that. Let's get you back to business. So thank you for that. And thanks to our PIO and our webmaster and Joan Newcall, our Community Economic Development Director, for getting that put out there so quickly. So like you stated, reopening practices, I'm excited to hear about the clickable CDC guidelines. Those are getting updated all the time. So
Yes.
continuously look at CDC for any new practices, but obviously the social distancing, you know, the washing of hands, the hand sanitizer dispensaries for people walking in. They feel better when they know that you're cleaning. They can tell you're cleaning. It looks clean. It smells clean. They don't feel like they're shopping in or, you know, participating where they don't need to be, because that's a characteristic of a business that you probably won't want to, you know, visit later on. So make sure you have enough PPE and what your requirements are. That's awesome. And if you need to do a phased reopening, you can do that. So you do things that are safe and comfortable for you and your constituents or your business partners. So, and always stay home when you feel sick. It doesn't matter if it's a sniffle or you just don't feel well. Just take that extra precaution and take a day or two to see how that progresses. And, you know, we don't know all of the virus variables, right? There's been a lot. We've gone through a lot of, it's 30 days. You could be symptomatic. You could be immune. You might have it. You could be walking around with it. So there's all those unknowns, and that really is the fear. So to quell those reopening practices, like you stated, having them posted on your door and pronounced how you're operating, will quell some of that fear factor and hopefully restore your businesses way better than they were before. So that's our goal. This hasn't gone to council. I just wanted to talk on it briefly. Of course, the city has, you know, some waivers ability to help with some of our local ordinances or passed by resolutions for fees and whatnot. So some of the things that we're going to consider next week, I think we have an agenda memo coming out this Friday. We posted. These aren't fully vetted and are not approved yet. So city council has approved these because we have adopted ordinances. So these are things we're thinking about, like waiver of building permit fees for small business up to a value of $25,000. May even consider up to $50,000. So if there's a lobby improvement that you need to do to open safely, we're going to waive your building permit fees. We're going to ask council to consider that. You know, construction, if you have so many employees or less, different things. Code compliance, code compliance has been a really good aspect. All the foreclosures are kind of on hold by, you know, federal and state mandate right now. So they can do only so much about enforcing. So we're really focused on that compliance factor of the property owner and the business owner to be compliant. But we also want to offer an opportunity to dig out of that hole with an amnesty program for the old liens that are stuck on property, so they can either transfer or move along in the process and just kind of get to what's really in compliance. So that's what we're going to try to do, ask council to do that. Our outdoor dining and seating approvals, we don't have any ordinances for that. So we have posted on our website, the outdoor dining approvals are going to go through an administrative review through our growth management, which is commonly known as a planning and zoning department for most. We call it growth management, just because we have so much growth to manage in Palm Bay. But if you have a need for outdoor dining and that you don't have outdoor seating, go to our website. There's a learn more here underneath the business resources about outdoor dining. Contacting growth management, they can walk you through and help you like a site plan review and help you get some outdoor seating so that you can accommodate for your, especially restaurant business. I miss going out, so I'm excited for you all to reopen. Granola bars only go so far, as the grocery store is a interesting nightmare of its own, but I'm excited to see more dining and availability. And I like to sit and relax in your environment. So takeout's great, but on the couch is not so much fun. So I like to go out and at least interact with some folks. As you said, we're social creatures. And we're going to try to make those waivers all valid through the end of the year, throughout the crisis, December 31st. So more to come on that. We have some other things that we want to probably announce but next week we'll have council consider those options. And if there's anything that we're missing, if you have any, input of a fee that, might help somebody out that we have forgotten about, a lot going on here at City Palm, please let me know.
Well, somebody was asking about the economic impact with, obviously, if you're waiving some of the fees and You know, you haven't been collecting things during this time. Is there, you know, sort of like you already have your budget that's been approved, and I know it goes till the end of September and that, are there, you know, are you kind of looking at, okay, well, if we have a 25% drop, or, you know, what that budget looks like and what impact that could have?
Yeah, so that's one of the things we're looking forward to. It's our budget year runs October 1st to September 30th. So, you know, granted, tax bills have gone out. You know, most of our stuff is reliable on the taxable value of Palm Bay properties. That's most of our revenues. We may see some reductions or deferments. They may take longer to come in because as we defer tax due dates and whatnot along the way from the state, it might slow it down. So obviously you have to respond to that. You don't react, you respond. So, you know, our travel and training budget, there's nowhere to go, so we can utilize that. There are other things that we're probably not spending dollars on that because we are doing work, but you may not be, you know, office furniture may not be that important. There are things in the budget that could be, you know, reduced and then reprioritized. That was what I said earlier, was that we reprioritized a lot of our workload to be conscious of what we could do rather than put people in like harm's way. So do no harm was a big deal. So if we couldn't do confined space improvements somewhere that weren't really critical, we'll defer those. That way the employees aren't in a space that they need to be feeling like, oh, uncomfortable. And then two, if it's not that emergency, then we don't. We conserve the PPE and we conserve those resources and we put it somewhere else. So there's a little shifting absolutely on the dollars and cents at all. We are very much aware the economic impact of this could go more than just next year's budget or the following year. So as we go into our budget this year, coming in July, August for the budget hearings, workshops, and whatnot, very cognizant of that. We have a zero-based budget this year. We introduced that months ago. So
Nice.
if that was a time to do it, unbeknownst to me, it was a good time. We're going to shake out all the pennies and we're going to restart. And then we'll have to just reprioritize what our really needs are to make sure that taxable values and our businesses, you know, business growth for me is huge because that changes the taxable value and the landscape of our community, not just for my budget or the city's budget. It also creates jobs, creates community wealth, becomes more stable, affordable housing. People are safe, sound, secure. There are all things that go along with that. It's not about the city's budget. It's about how the community is able to be sustainable. You know, I have a job, that means I can buy food for my family. That means I have a home and I can provide. If I don't have that resource, we're in trouble. So those are the things that we want to focus on. That's why we want to ensure that our businesses have the opportunities to bring back their employees safely, to re-engage with that, and, you know, that economic cycle of you know, the world happens. And that's really a goal for me and for our team. Absolutely. So yes, we adjust and we do that pretty quickly. You know, it's pretty easy to see that coming down the track.
Yeah, I think we all had to do that.
Yes.
Somebody asked, what about business licenses that cannot, or businesses that cannot pay their business taxes or licenses? Is there any help?
Yeah, so we actually have that conversation. I was on a couple of emails. We've had that conversation. It's not on the list because we haven't figured that part out. There's a little lawyer part that's overseeing that. So, we talked about deferring it. We talked about you know, penalties later instead of due this date, maybe giving a little extra time. We talked about some things you want to be able to do that you can actually do. I threw out this BOGO, buy one year, get one, but that's hard for our system to track. So there's a better way to do it, right? I throw that out there on Facebook and everyone's like, oh, buy one, get one. No, it was a thought process, but there also is the legal function of operating without a business tax because the payment is actually the key factor. So there's a little bit of work to be done there to review that and make sure that we can. Other municipalities have done that, so I don't think there's an issue. Everybody here has to feel the same way about it. And we are looking at that too. It just wasn't included in the list. Like I said, there'll be more to come, I think, in our list of things because you want to make sure that you do it easily and smart and simplified so it's not hard to communicate. Well, are you doing it? Are you not? So when it all passes, we'll exactly know what it is, and then we'll be able to put that out and sign, seal it, and put a bow on it for everybody. And that's our goal, is to make sure it's easy for people to operate.
Well, and everything isn't a one-shot deal because as this goes on, I mean, we're going to find other things that need assistance or things that we initially didn't consider. So that's why I keep telling people is that, you know, that we're in this for the long haul and it's going to have long-term impact on us. So we also want to do a shout out actually to all the people that have joined us. We have Janice Fox, Joe Roulette, Tracy Strotter, Jennifer Valliere, Sherry Richardson, Tom Macarello, David Jones, and Angel Haskell, Deb Jansen, Yemi Windle, Chris Marcel, Kaori Fisher. So I think all of those are members, so we're thrilled to have them on with us. There was another question too about the fire department and the police department. I mean, because most of us stayed home, was there sort of less crime, and so the police weren't quite as crazy, and you know, where the fire department didn't have to respond as much, or like business as usual? And
business as usual, but I would say call volume was less. But we did see where we don't see traffic accidents, or we don't see lights and sirens running for a lot of that. Crime rates were low. We were easily able to catch a lot of those that were breaking and entering, you know, cars and things, burglaries. There was a big I saw a nice update this week that there was a bunch of car burglaries, and they were able to catch a guy. We had a few people like running through the woods. It was easily fined. So crime that way was lower. However, what we did see was the social aspect of it. So, you know, domestics, calls for service because everybody's stuck in their house. They're tired of their family. So those things. The kids weren't going to school. So, you know, those social impacts of being safer at home, we were still calls for service for that. We still had, you know, needs to be met for any medical responses from our fire departments as well. And all, you know, PPE, make sure we had a lot of protocols that we instituted up front that we would try to get people outside their homes so we weren't entering the homes into another unknown for their safety as well. So our police chief, our fire chief, they were on it. Even inside the fire stations, as far as safety, they made a no shoes rule, had to take your boots off, the bunch gear didn't come in, you left them. You know, they had all sorts of germaphobe moments, but it's good because we kept them safe. That's the intent. We want them to be available for you.
Right.
They had the signs, you know, stay home so I can, you know, serve you as well, be there for you. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest concerns is when your first responders aren't able to, you know, when you have a high outage rate, like I think in New York, 25% or so. I mean, it was unbelievable. So when you're thinking that you don't have all those people to respond, it's just
it was a worry,
more of a challenge.
Sure. I said, you know, if you have one and you have 2, 3, 4, and you have to quarantine for 14 days and the recovery is 3 to 6 weeks, you could have a problem.
Right. Yes.
So again, I'm so proud of Palm Bay for staying at home and staying home when you didn't feel good, and you didn't travel, and you made it. I don't know if you made it. We're not there yet, but I mean, we made really good progress. I mean, unfortunately, I think Titusville's got us beat. They only have 15 cases. We have 47. So I was like, wow, what did Titusville do for, you know?
Yeah, but think of it as a percentage of our population, then we're way low. I mean, you know, that's unbelievable. A few more shout outs, and then we'll go back to your slide. So we have Alicia, Beverly Squires Wiggins. We have Chris again, Chris Marcel, Cindy Hunt. Our chamber director for membership. We have Deb Jansen, Diane Bryson, Lyndon Cope, Marty Mercado, Marty, oh boy, Piedkowski, Marvis. Oh, so Marvis is, well, just shout out to Marvis. Matt Arozo, I don't want to just do it one compared to the others, but Revisa is the lady who is running the Hyatt. So if you are able to go to Hyatt Place today, ask for Revisa. Melissa or Dominic, he's there too. Melissa Wilbrandt, Sally Ann Cause joining us from Alabama. I know Victor Maldonado and Vincent Santio. So thank you all for joining us on our chamber chat, and we will go back to the slides now. And if you have any questions, keep typing them in. Lisa's been great answering them. So thank you all for joining us.
Awesome.
Okay.
Where are we?
It does get distracting, doesn't it? I apologize.
There's more than one screen too. I have 2 or 3, and there's paper, and there's a phone ringing and going off, but that's okay. That's besides the point. We're focused here. We're focused on back to business. It's good stuff. We'll give a big shout out to our developpalmbay.org website. This is a business resource. This is where we're posting a lot of the up-to-date on those information about local, state, federal sources. You know, go to our homepage, and we have clickable links, and this is where it's driving you to our development page. So lots of good stuff out there, you know, between the chamber, EDC, CDC, the federal, the state, the CDBG funds, the CARES Act. There are a lot of resources, and I realize, and I won't say the word PPP because that's like a big not available to most, and that was disheartening. You know, then you see the after effect of who was getting it, and then, oh, well, we'll give you the money back. And boy, just small business is such a function of like Main Street America and even big business. I get it, but you can probably get a little bit further along. I mean, I feel for Disney and SeaWorld and their furloughs. That was huge and to read in the newspaper, but we want to make sure that you have all the webinars, e-learning opportunities that you can for you have your business, along with the chamber, sharing information back and forth. We're all partners in this. We're all in this together. So if we can share more information and we can learn more and we can do more, then that's what we're going to do. We want everybody to help and we want everybody to survive. So just want to give a big shout out there. And of course, City of Palm Bay's got a website. We have a development website, economic development website. We have our Facebook. You can follow us on that. And emergency notifications, because we are, I hate to say, gonna knock on some wood. I don't know if this is real wood in my office, but it is Hurricane Prep Week. Alert Brevard, we have our Alert Palm Bay as well. So sign up. We're partners in that. That's the state emergency system. So Brevard can send out bigger ones. We can send out to our population. So if you register for one, you get them all. Again, good partnerships with the Brevard County Emergency Management Team up at the EOC. Big shout out to them too, because they have been providing a lot of support to the state for the local municipalities, and we appreciate them greatly. One thing that's not on my slide is I think you'll see an announcement here shortly. Testing. If anybody had a question on testing, we're gonna host a site here at City Hall. We have the availability of some test kits coming in and some a lab, all state funded. Our EMTs will be out to swab, all PPE, geared up, gowned up, switch out every 5 minutes, new swabs, new gowns, all that good stuff just for our residents. Last time I heard was like 9,000 tests in Brevard County were performed. It's 118,000 people in just Palm Bay. 600,000 people live in Brevard. So when everybody's like, hurry up and reopen, I said, I wish the testing were a little bit more prolific because you'd have a better feel. 9,000 tests for 600,000 people doesn't make you feel good. That's why we're focused on the soft reopening in phases, slow, steady, because you don't want to reopen so fast that you have to close it all back down. We have to kind of restart. So continue to do things that you've been doing. Essential travel, essential services, get your groceries, go home. Curbside takeout, still not bad. If you want to eat outside, that's probably the best place. The dining is all 6 foot distancing between tables. It's always nice to be out there. So we want to make sure that everybody's still washing their hands. You can go to bathrooms and prior to COVID, it says employees must wash hands. It should just say everybody needs to wash your hands. Yeah. Just please wash your hands and don't touch everything. Look with your eyes. I know with kids, that's impossible. I've lived that dream. I've been married for a long time. My husband touches everything too, except for now he's a sanitized like king. You walk into his car, he's like, "Did you wash your hands? Here's some sanitizer." So anyway, stay informed. And we'll get through this together. And I think hey, look at that. That's what I got.
And so with the testing for COVID, is there any thoughts on testing for antibodies? Is that, because that's kind of the new. That's a new. And so I think that, there's really not an FDA approved methodology. I think there's some testing sites out there that are doing that, and you'll see more of that. And that's where we look at the FDOH for that availability to bring that forward. And I think you'll see more of that come forward. The Governor DeSantis has actually been setting up testing sites in major counties, drive-through, but he's very big on the testing. I've been watching all his press conferences. He has one every day. We've had 5. I'm so glad EOC's at a level 2. We were having meetings like every third day, plus a city manager's meeting on the other off days, and then internal meetings with department heads, keeping council informed, updating the website, getting that information digested, and then spit back out. It was just a lot to get through, and staff has been amazing here. The public has been amazing with their outreach and support as well. So I have to say thank you to everybody. Chamber, great job. Thank you for being a partner. Business community, thank you for being a partner. And it's just amazing. But yes, the testing sites, I'm sorry, I'll get into the thank yous because that was really where I feel most love for. But testing, I feel a lot more love for because I would like to see more. And that seems to be a big initiative for the state to push that down into the local communities. Walk-up testing was an initiative he talked about because not everybody has a vehicle. And that's kind of why we chose, I'm pointing out to Malabar Road City Hall here because there's a bus stop right out front. So if you were like, well, you're going to let people walk through. I'm like, why not? I don't care. Get here, get the test. It's, free and it'll be available. So if that's successful, I think a good strategy to do that. So. And are you putting in place that anybody that wants to get tested can, or is it people showing symptoms? Or I know you only have a limited number of tests.
Yeah, we have a limited number. So it's looking at the testing like so far this week. It's not, the symptomatic testing is one way, but you could be asymptomatic and still have the virus. So you could be a positive and you don't know it. And I know FDOH has been restricted to a pre-screening. And we too, we will have a pre-screening appointment base so we don't have traffic and backup on Malabar and between the library, and we still have employees here, so everybody wants to be safe. So we'll do by appointment, pre-screening. Fire department staff is actually going to do the pre-screening with their EMS paramedic folk, and then the actual test will be done by them as well in their full gear and their goggles and everything. But I think there's an option to do lift that restriction, actually, just to do if you it's mostly been 65 symptomatic, then you can come. I think we have a little bit of a variety as we're administering a test and the state is paying for it. We want to get testing out to everybody, but we'd like you to conserve the test so that for those that really need it too. So there's that yes, no question.
Yeah.
But more to come in our news release next week. I think we have what we've set up for tentatively, and I want to spoil the news in case it doesn't come to fruition for something happens, but Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday for 8 hours. This testing site will be available at hours on a weekend. That has not been available across the board. So on Saturday, where people have to, we know our demographic, 2 jobs, kids, middle of the day just doesn't work. So we're going to offer the Saturday opportunity for folks to come out as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So right now, has the testing really just been through the hospital?
FDOH. Via Gateway, Omni. It's all been in the north part of the county. So we're trying to we want it here. We want it for our residents. That was my biggest ask. I was like, who's going to do testing? And is FDOH going to put up a tent? Is FDM going to bring us a tent? Is anybody going to, we have the largest population. You guys got 72 miles of coast. I got 88 square miles of hospitality. So, but you don't want to compete. You want to synergize that. So for sure.
Yeah. And so is the testing free or?
Yes.
Free?
The state is going to fund the test. The swab kits are free, and the testing to Quest Labs will also be free and paid by the state.
Woohoo. Well, that's very nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so, that is awesome.
Yes.
And so somebody asked, what role do you see the chamber to help support the business going forward, the business community? So how we can partner with the city? Is there any initiatives that?
There's always that initiative because you have the pulse. So if we need to adjust some priorities on programs and guidelines, if there's federal funding that happens to fall into the realm of the municipality, my outreach is going to be, Nancy, what are your folks asking for? What do they need? Where should we put the eligibility, the application? Everybody's like, wait, you're forecasting. I have to have an outcome. So if you're going to do a program and we have some, and it's COVID related, right? You've been harmed in some way or you need some services because of this pandemic. That's what those funds go for. So the eligibility, it's not a free handout. You have to have an eligibility program, but we have to know what kind of outcome we want. Right. We want positive outcomes. So we're just not going to give $5. It's kind of like standing on the side of the road. It's like, you give that person that $1 or the water bottle in your car. You're like, I'll give them the bottle of water because they don't know what he's going to do with that $1. So not to be restrictive, but just to be positive outcome to the business community, survival, sustainability, and future growth. Right. If you have to start over from ground zero because your business closes, you've lost all capital. You've lost all that investment. Your customers are your proprietary function. That's everybody has a proprietary little thing, but your customers are yours and you want to retain them and you want them to revisit and you want them to come back. So the outcome has to be that part. So Nancy and I and Joan and the business community at large it's not just those 2 people, it's everyone.
Right.
So your needs, let us know. We don't ask because we already know. We want to know. Maybe we missed it. And want to make sure that we can get that out there.
And we have our ambassadors have been calling our members to get some feedback of what they're looking for and resources that they need. A lot of them have said that they've been quite busy and trying to, studies show that the businesses that stayed engaged, rather than, even if they shut their doors, but stayed engaged with webinars and that type of thing, are much more likely to be successful upon reopening because, it's not, you shut everything down. It takes you a while to get your head back in the game and have the plan. Whereas if you've been working on it all along, much better chance of this success. So we've been trying to keep everybody connected and sending out the important information to them, especially on the loans that were out there. We also partnered with the other chambers. So we have that Brevard Business Support And, you know, this week we have our mayor, William Capote, is going to be on that, representing the Space Coast League of Cities, and Rita Pritchett from the county commissioners. So, you know, kind of information that the business community needs to know about our community at large. I mean, really, this affects us in all different ways, and trying to plan for the future. And as you say, doing a zero-based budget, you know, we've kind of looked at that as well, because the chamber is driven by obviously education and information, but also networking events. And so what is that going to look like in the future? And if people aren't wanting to congregate, you know, what does our business model look like? So, you know, it's a whole new reality for, I think, everybody. So I think we're all trying to figure out what that's going to look like. So let me see if there's any more questions, though. Let's see. I don't know, Carolina, if there were any on Facebook that we did not get to. She's been, she texts me, so normally I'm getting them, I'm looking at things from, you know, okay, let me look there. Let me
Up,
look
down,
there.
left, right. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
I know. It
It's
looks
fun.
like I have
Fun.
shifty eyes, and what am I looking at?
I know what
But,
you're looking at. I was worried. I was like, oh, there's too much going on. I need to put it all down. But there's just too much going on.
You were great. That was good. I'm looking at your slides. I'm looking at the Zoom chat. There's also a Q&A form, and then there's Facebook as she sends me stuff. So it looks like that's about it. Nope. So she said, nope, nobody on Facebook. So Lisa, this was fabulous. I know I asked you very short notice. I've been wanting to have you on for a while, because I think that, you know, the city has really been doing a lot to keep the citizens safe, and you know, it's good for them to know, because I know everything is on your Facebook page or your website, but
somewhere.
Yeah, you know, sometimes.
I know, but the human element is missing. You want to say hi, and you want to make sure that we are here for you. We've been here for you. We will continue to be here for you. So absolutely keep that line of my, you know, you're my customers too in some light, right? So I want to make sure that everybody has what they need. And if we're missing, you know, obviously that line of communication, being approachable, that's key. To see a familiar face, or at least know that, oh, they do listen. Oh, and they answer emails. We try to get back. There is a lot. Technology is great, but it does take a lot longer to do these processes. If I could just do it in person, we've been already done. Like if I could just get there and it's done. This whole 6 feet, I'm not comfortable. No. It takes longer to get back to folks, and so everybody's had a lot of patience. And I also feel like you know, it's just amazing journey, and I'm happy to go on it with all of you, and happy to be here today. Thank you for the opportunity. I know you've asked, I think you asked prior, and I was like, not a great time. We're pivoting like more than once on the executive orders, the local orders, what Broward was doing with beaches. Okay, cities are closing. The national park says this. CDC says this. It was just it was a lot of moving parts. So thank you for your patience of waiting, and my pleasure to participate anytime. Thank you.
Absolutely. Another one from Marva. She said, I got to hear Lisa at one of the lunches, and you do a great job showing your love of our city.
Thank you.
So that was, yes. And somebody said, can Lisa come again?
Always. I just would like to do it in person at the luncheon. It's just so much nicer. I know we can't touch anybody or say hi, but the virtual is fine as well. So happy to, if there's a different topic or any topic. I mean, this is a topic, but you know, I hate to say the word COVID-19.
I know, but we appreciate, like I said, all that you've done, the information that you're getting out there. For those of you, please go on their website and sign up for the Back to Business. Right.
Let's go back. There's too many acronyms. Back to Business, PBFL, friendly URLs, Back to Business, and register your business and get that out there. And if you need resources or anything. Nancy, you did a great job. I've been watching your page as well, so I have to, you know, return the favor here and say thank you to the chamber. They're your business liaison too, and point person, their board, and we connect regularly. And we need to make sure that information is flowing either through my office or her office, or you know, she's probably easier to get to my office than it is. But I feel like let's make sure that is open and doing and going. And Nancy, you did a great job, and continue to do a good job, and whatever we can do to support your effort as well, because a city without a chamber would be interesting. It would be no, you know, that's when I was at your chamber and I talked about, unity, community, this is part of it. And chamber's a big part of our business world, and those resources, that's something a city doesn't do. There's things that the chamber can do and offer that's what your membership is for. And I advocate for that because that's a great resource. So don't give it up ever.
Thanks. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Yeah, one of the concerns with chambers is they weren't included in any of the stimulus package because we're a 501c6. And it's like, well, we are really disseminating so much information to the business community, and they're concerned about the business community and not about the, the chambers
system that holds it up.
Leading it. So it's like, okay, whatever. But
if they weren't there, what wouldn't you know? I mean, if you can ask that question today of yourself. If Nancy and team weren't there and ongoing, and we're all
right,
what would I know and where would I go? Would I know everything I need to know? Maybe, but no, that human element is still there because they're available via this, chamber chat, and pick up the phone and she's there, or send her an email and she's also able to respond. So, it's not like a call center; it's your chamber.
Right. Yeah, and
awesome.
Hank Wizards actually got quite a bit of funding because Wendell came on our chats that we had on the SBA loans. And so he did it immediately and appreciated that. So we certainly are thrilled when we hear success stories with people that have, participated and been able to get some of the funding. So if there's anyone that's listening and on our Facebook page, if you can type in your success stories, it's nice to hear those. I think some of the funds now are being released and more people are getting the loans. And so we just want to know that. I have a little list, but I don't have a lot. So if there's other people that have received funding, just type that in there and we'll share that out. So Lisa, I think I can't believe it was an hour. I remember I said, well, if it's only 20 minutes.
She said 15 minutes. And I'm like, I never have talked for 15 minutes ever. Everybody says 15 minutes. I just need you for 15 minutes. And I've never, you start to engage and ask questions and it goes from there. So it's always a pleasure.
Well, thank you so much.
Everybody knows that I speak longer. Thank you.
No, we'll look at another time to get you rescheduled on here as well. But thank you, Lisa, and be safe. And thank you for all you're doing for the city. We certainly appreciate it.
Stay connected and stay safe, and thank you. Be well. Continue to be so. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.